Welcome. Today we're going to talk about triads. A lot of people ask about triads, and here's what they are. They're just chords, little three-note chords. You've played this A major chord probably before, right? Well, we have the open A string, and then we have three notes. In this case, E, A, and C sharp. Now that just spells an A triad. If we go up the neck, we have other A triads, but they always only contain those same three notes: A, C sharp, and E, which is how we spell an A triad. So let's check those out again. The first one actually has the fifth note, the E in the bass, then we have the A, then the C sharp. Now I'm saying the fifth note, the third note, the first note. What does that mean? Well, if we take the A major scale, the A major triad is built off the first note, the third note, and the fifth note of the scale. So if we take A major, simple scale, we probably know that. Don't worry about the fingering so much, just listen to the sound of it. There's the first note, right? Second note, third note, fourth note, fifth note. So if we take the first, third, and fifth notes, there's our A triad. A, C sharp, and E in this case. So when we play those same three notes on these same three strings, get that triad, E, A, and C sharp. Here it's A, C sharp, and E, and up here it's C sharp, E, and A. So the same three notes, you can hear them really nicely in this key on the guitar because we have our open A string we can use as a pedal tone. So if you listen to this, that sounds like all A major, right? Okay, so in this key, let's add a 5 chord now. In other words, going back to the major scale, the 5 chord, if we go A, B, C sharp, D, E, the fifth note is E. So we're going to play E major. And now that still sounds like a major chord, but it sounds a little different, right? If I had this A bass, it sounds a lot different than A major. It sounds very much in the key, but as soon as I start throw a chord like that in there, it sounds nice, but not quite as stable, right? This is the sound of 5 to 1. It's got a very resolving sound. If I'm on 5, playing that A bass, so it might throw you off a little bit, but that's just to hear, so you hear the sound of the key. That's obviously more stable. 5 to 1. They all have their pairs. If we look at the next one, we had A major here before. 5 looks like that. And you're thinking, wait a minute, these fingerings look familiar. And they're the same three fingerings we used for A major, but they're in a different spot on the neck. So A major, just like we had here. A major to the E triad. Once again, I'm hitting that bass note so we can just kind of hear the sound of the key, and it's a nice way to practice these. We had one more. Here's our A major up here. I could have done it down here too. Except we end up with an open string. No big deal. Sound really nice. What about that one? Oh, that's a 4 chord. Now I'm playing a D major. 4 chord means it's just the fourth chord that appears in the key of A major. We're staying in A. A, B, C sharp, D. Again, that same fingering. Here is a D major. There's D major, there's D major, and here. Same three shapes, just in a different spot. So we have A major, E major, and now D major, back to A major. You can imagine you can start writing a lot of great songs or intros and endings with this kind of sound if you just kind of start experimenting. Come up with stuff all day that sounds really nice. So this is the key of A major. Practice it, really get to the point that you can think about the chords as you're playing them. Think about the chord names. So when you're playing them, you're thinking, okay, well that's an A major, and I'm going to throw a 4-chord D major on top of it, keeping that A bass. There's that 5 chord. And after a while, you start to really digest these sounds and start to hear them more than just think about them, because that's what we want to do. We want to hear the sound of A major. You can be more aggressive like that, you know, with the open A. That really gives it that supported kind of A sound. It doesn't really sound like it's moving a whole lot because we have that A bass constantly moving. So in the future we might start moving the bass note around a little bit to give you some different sounds, but for now there's a lot of exploration that can be done right here. So start playing them in different ways with the pick. Maybe play. There, I snuck in that E. I wanted to hear that 5 chord. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a jumping off point to start experimenting with some triads in A major. Good luck. Send me a post if you have any questions.